Jai Hind, this is Brigadier Hemant Mahajan. We will carry out another overview of important activities that have taken place in India or abroad, which affect India's internal and external security. These are not only conventional war activity or gray zone activity, but they also include what is called as the environmental security. It also includes economic security. It also includes cultural security. So we will cover all these angles and important activities that have taken place in India and abroad. To start off with, certain important events that took place very briefly. At present, there's an exercise which is going on between the navies of India, Japan, USA, and Australia, which is called as Exercise Malabar. It is basically a very clear message to China that our navies can carry out a combined operation. The next point is that India is going to receive its last Rafale. Everybody would remember that we had ordered for 36 Rafale, 35 already have been delivered, and now one more will be delivered by December 15. The next issue pertains to the USA elections. The USA elections also has some kind of an effect on India. So therefore, what is important to know is that in the recent by-elections, the Democratic Party has won lot of seats. But what is of relevance to India is that five Indian American lawmakers have won. Radha Krishnamurthy, Rao Khanna, Pramila Jaipal, Ami Bera, etc. So that tells you about the strength that the Indian community has in America. The next issue is a statement by Home Minister Shri Amit Shah, in which he said that the left wing extremism or Naxalism or left wing terrorism or Maoism has been eliminated from the states of Bihar and Jharkhand. We all know that LWE or left wing extremism actually is prevalent in four states, out of which Bihar and Jharkhand it has been removed now. So, if you purely go by the report of Ministry of Home Affairs, now it is there in state of it is there in the state of Chhattisgarh and certain areas of Dandakaranya liberated zone. Uh, if you look at the statistics, things are definitely improving as far as the left wing extremism is concerned. In 2010, there were 100 districts in the country which were under the domination of the Maoists. Today, the Maoist presence is there only in 30 districts. Now, there used to be on an average about 2000 to 2500 incidences of violence in the year 2010. It has now come down to 509 incidences in 2021. The death rate, which was quite heavy, almost 500 to 700 people used to die every year. Now that has come down by 85%. The number of casualties of the security forces has also reduced, and the number of casualties inflicted on the Maoists has definitely increased. So that is definitely a very important progress which we have made. The arc of violence has now reduced considerably, but what we have to understand is, though it is called left wing extremism, it is the Communist Party of India, Maoist, which is responsible for maximum violence, which accounts for nearly 86% of the violence and 96% of the death. Meaning, while there are some other organizations that are there, but the most important is Communist Party of India, Maoist, which causes maximum violence. So now, having achieved some success, what should we do? Obviously, we need to keep up the momentum. We have to strengthen and keep on upgrading our security forces, especially the Central Armed Police Forces like the CRPF, the BSF, the CISF, etc., who are actively involved in anti-Naxal operations. We have to strengthen our intelligence gathering. We have to use technical intelligence. We have to ensure that the funds which are extorted by the Maoists or the Naxals are stopped. We have to cut off their fund supply. We have to crack down on many overground sympathizers are there. One would remember that even now there's a court case going on against what is called as urban Naxals, and they are. But recently the Supreme Court told that one of the urban nakshas against whom the case is going on, he instead of being confined to the jail, his name is Gautam Navlaka, he should do his detention at his house. One wonders what kind of a judgment is that. There are the reason given for letting him go to his house is because there are certain medical problems that he has. Now today there are, and his age is more than 70. There are thousands of prisoners today who have an age of more than 70 and who have some kind of an ailment while undergoing a sentence prison inside the prisons. Should they also be not be left? Should they also not get a benefit of staying in their own homes and being looked after better? Well, this is a point for consideration. The judge, we should be sympathetic to the other prisoners also who are in the prison with serious ailments without their families. Well, think of it. If you can leave Mr. Gautam Navlakha, some similar treatment can be given to the others. The next issue is that two important events have taken place, which has given boost not only to make in India but to make for the world. Kalyani, which is one of the most important investors in defense sector, has got an order for advanced towing artillery gun system, which they have also developed as ultra light howitzer, worth 155 millions from abroad. It's a good thing that Indian weapons are being accepted by many foreign countries because this will generate jobs. It will generate many, let's say, uh, build the ecosystem by which Asian and African countries, instead of buying it from the big powers, also buy their weapons for their security from India. The next issue is Bharat Electronics Limited (BEL) has signed an MOU with a company called Aerosense Technological Limited. The aim is to design, develop drones and also develop anti-drone systems. This is a very positive progress because Pakistan has been using drones to transport narcotics, Afu Ganja, Charas to Punjab, and this has to be stopped by a hard kill or a soft kill of a drones which are including into our country. The next issue again is after Pinaka, another artillery system is going to be exported. So this is a very again a good information that the quality of weapons which Indian private companies are producing, obviously that has been accepted by the world, and they are also buying arms from our country. The next issue is about the environmental pollution. The farmers in Punjab are simply not willing to listen to what the government is trying to tell them, government in Delhi, government in Punjab, and they continue to burn paddy, the residue of paddy. In fact, this time there has been 29,400 crop residues being burned in the current season, which is much higher than the comparable period last time. Now, this is despite the fact that the state has 50,000 tractor drawn happy, super, and smart seeders that can remove the paddy stubble and incorporate into the soil, thereby enriching the soil and simultaneously sowing the seeds for the next wheat crop. But somehow this is not being used because the farmers are just not willing to obey the laws of the land. There are other machines like the mulchers, the retovators, the straw bladers, the choppers, reversible mold boards, etc. So these are all are available, but somehow this is just not being used, and the farmers are finding an easy way of burning their crop by setting fields on fire, and this despite the fact that government has said that this should not be done, while Haryana and UP, where similar crops are grown in some of the areas, they are doing very well. But still, the farmers are not willing to listen to what the government is trying to tell them. They are simply burning their crops and burning their crops and Yeah, I'm there. हां, ॲक्चुअली माझ्या इथे लाईव्ह थांबलं कधीच नव्हतं म्हणजे. ठीक आहे ना, बिकॉज इफ इट स्टॉप ऑन माय स्क्रीन आय वुड हॅव ऑल्सो गिव्हन यू अ रिंग एंड इट इज स्टिल कंटिन्यूइंग आय मीन. ठीक आहे ना, तर द नंबर्स आर देअर. ओके. म्हणजे पॉसिबली द कनेक्शन ब्रोक ॲट युअर ओके. शुड आय स्टार्ट?
Yes, sir.
ओके. शुड आय स्टार्ट?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
I'll start now. Okay?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay. Jai Hind, this is Brigadier Hemant Mahajan. We carry out another roundup of security environment around India, security events which took place which affect India's internal and external security. First, we'll start off with some important news that affects our national security. Uh, uh, the first important news is that Malabar exercise between the navies of India, Japan, USA, Australia is continuing, and it's a good news because it's a very clear-cut message to China that we are united against China. The second issue is that Rafale, we had ordered 36 Rafale aircraft. The last of the Rafales is going to come to us on December 15th. That will complete the procurement of Rafale from France. The third important issue is that the American by elections have taken place, and the good news is that in the Democratic Party, five Indian American lawmakers have been chosen, and they are Raja Krishnamurthy, Rao Khanna, Pramila Jayapal, Ami Bera, etc. So that tells you about the positive, the soft power that the Indians yield in America. The next issue is a statement which has been made by the Home Minister in which he said that left wing extremism, which was prevalent in many parts of the country, now two states it has been taken out, it has been eliminated completely, and these states are Bihar and Jharkhand. If you look at the statistics, in 2010, the LWE or the left wing extremism or Naxalism or Maoism or left wing terrorism was spread over in 100 districts in the country. Now, today, there are barely 30 districts which has the presence of the Maoists. As far as the violence level is concerned, that is also come down. It has come down drastically. Let's say on an average, there used to be 2,500 to 3,000 incidences which were there. Now they've reduced to barely 500. The death rate is also down by 85%. The number of casualties inflicted on the Maoists is on the higher side. The number of Maoists are also surrendering. And if you look at the two states of Bihar and Jharkhand, now the violence in that area more or less has been controlled, and the Maoist has been pushed back into the jungles of Chhattisgarh. Now, this is a very good news that Bihar and Jharkhand are free of Maoists, but the Maoists are still there in Chhattisgarh. So, therefore, important issue is that we have to launch an assault on Chhattisgarh, the Dandakaranya jungles, and the area of Chhattisgarh bordering with other three, four states where the Maoists have their bases and training camps and have to eliminate them from there. So, what we need to do today is we need to strengthen and upgrade our central armed police forces like the CRPF, the BSF, etc. We have to strengthen the intelligence gathering. We have to cut off funds for the Maoists. Uh, they get funds by carrying out extortion, etc. We have to crack down on their overground sympathizers. And one knows that today, 8 of the urban Nakshals are still in jail, though one of them has been released right now, Mr. Gautam Naulata, because he claimed he was ill and he claimed that the prison authorities could not treat him properly, and it has been said that he can get himself treated at home. One wonders at times this kind of a sympathy to the urban Nakshals, but why some similar kind of a treatment? Why is it not? Why is it not given to other prisoners who are more than 70 years of age or who have ailments which are difficult and which they cannot be taken care of completely in the prison? One treatment for urban Nakshals, while not such a good treatment as far as the other things are concerned. Well, we should seriously think about it. The next issue is Make in India, Make for the World. The two good news is Kalyani, which manufactures artillery guns, the advanced artillery gun system, has got orders worth 150 millions from abroad, which is a good thing because this will ensure that our weapons are seen by the world, the cost of production goes down, the profitability of companies goes up. In addition to this, BEL has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Aerosense technological firm in which they will not only manufacture drones but also manufacture anti-drone system, which are very, very important because Pakistan is using drones to transport drugs into the state of Punjab. And last year, more than 100 such drones have come inside, out of which 5 or 6 had been shot down. Next issue is about environmental security or environmental pollution. The Punjab farmers are still burning paddy, and the paddy burnt is so much that there's a crisis as far as National Capital Region is concerned. The National Capital Region is choking because of smoke. The number of deaths have increased. The number of people who are falling ill has increased. Emergency more or less has been declared in the NCR. Schools and colleges have been closed. People have been told to work from home. But as far as the farmers are concerned, they are not listening to the government of Punjab or government of Delhi, but they continue to burn paddy and continue to poison the National Capital Region citizens. There are adequate number of mechanical uh, deeds available by which burning of paddy can be stopped. There are tractor drawn happy super smart seeders that can remove the stubble and incorporate it into the soil and also sow the seeds of the next wheat crop. Then there are equal number of machines of various types which can remove this without burning. There are straw balers, there are choppers, there are reversible mode plows, etc. But it is not being used at all. The farmers having access to the machine also are just burning crops without bothering about the public health cost that is there for all the affected areas. And the government in Delhi and government in Punjab have failed to take any disciplinary action against the farmers who are breaking the laws. Unfortunately, despite giving 70 to 80% the subsidy, the farmers are just not willing to listen to anybody. Punjab needs to drastically reduce its paddy area. It drastically needs to conserve its water resources. So therefore, supply of free electricity has to be stopped. We have to encourage farmers not to pump out water from the ground. We have to grow crops that are suitable to the state's agroecology. This kind of a destructive way of burning crop and growing paddy, which is not required, must stop, and a planned program has to be there by which the paddy cultivation is reduced, and instead of that, we're going for crops like cotton, maize, soybean, arar, and other kharif pulses and oil seeds which consume less water and where the problem of burning will be reduced. And which are alternate crops are given? Obviously, some kind of a minimum support price has to be given so that the farmers do not end up it lost. The Punjab government has just not shown political will to stop the stubble burning, and National Capital Region every year continues to suffer and the death rate continues to increase. The next issue is with regard to economic security. Government of India is trying to facilitate international trade by a domestic currency, that is Indian rupee. We want to uh, import and export which we have with Russia should be done in rupees. We are willing, but Russia presently is not ready for it because we want to save we want to decrease our dollar dependence, and we have to save our dollars because dollar complete trade with the outside world is done on dollars, and it puts a lot of pressure on the Indian rupee, which the pressure can be seen. Our foreign exchange reserve are down to about 530 crores from 640 crores that was there 1 year back. So therefore, there is a need to trade in Indian rupee. Unfortunately, Russia is presently not willing. We have to convince them. We could use similar mechanism with Sri Lanka, Maldives, and many Southeast Asian countries, African countries, Latin American countries, but we have to convince them. Because if you do that, then obviously dependence on dollars will decrease, and this is profitable not only to India but even to the other countries. The next issue is recently the reports, the banking sector reports of this quarter were announced, and the banking sector is doing very, very well. They have had the best results in last many years, in which net profit are more than 25,000 crores. It is 50% as increase as compared to the last year. So this is because of a systematic procedure carried out by the government, deep structural reforms like cleaning up of loans, cleaning up of non-performing assets, carrying out removing the assets from the banks and giving it to a reconstruction company. So therefore, definitely the Indian banks have become more now more efficient. The next issue pertains to the extradition of economic offenders. The good news is that diamond merchant Nirav Modi, who had run away from India, now will come back to India for trials. The United Kingdom court has ruled that he should be sent back. Similarly, arms dealer Sanjay Bhandari will also be sent back. This is a good news because what was happening was United Kingdom had become a paradise for economic offenders from India. People like Vijay Mallya, etc., where people like Vijay Mallya, etc., were very, very happy. The moment they did something wrong, they just ran away to United Kingdom, and UK has a rule by which if you do investment there worth about $2 or $3 million, then you get citizenship there. The moment you get the citizenship, then the laws of the land of outside do not apply to you, and that becomes like a safe haven. Now, for a change, the United Kingdom has agreed to send these offenders back after trying them in the under the United Kingdom's laws, etc. So anybody and everybody who's run away from India after committing economic offences will now be punished inside India. We should do something similar in where other economic offenders have run away and get them also back. The next issue pertains to threat from China on the line of actual control. Defense Minister Shri Rajnath Singh has said that even during winters, the Indian Army has to be ready for a Chinese attack. He is right because Xi Jinping has recently told the People's Liberation Army that they should be ready to fight and win a war. And he's brought in a lot of changes in the Chinese system. He's appointed some army officers who were there in Galwan on the higher places. So therefore, a threat from China is definitely going to be there. China is trying to act these days, I would say, act funny They are trying to compartmentalize the border issue and blame the bilateral tension on lack of sufficient understanding between the two sides. This is a hot and cold tactics. India must continue to enhance coordination with the quadrilateral members, improve your defense preparedness, improve your offensive capability, and also tell China that we are not going to do any business with you till the time you stop your aggressive posture on the LAC, restore the status quo on the LAC, and finalize the boundary issue. Before that, there is absolutely going to be no normal relationship with China. This message has to be clearly given to them. The next issue is that recently a report prepared on non-kinetic battle space. Now, what is happening is Ukraine war is a living history in which cyber war is going on, electronic warfare is going on, information operations, intelligence operations, space technology, everything is being used. Now, Russia, despite using this, has not been able to subdue the Ukrainians because Ukrainians have been helped by private technological companies in defending themselves. Now, what India has to do is India should learn the use of non-kinetic tools to deter a kinetic war. We have to keep on developing our technology, software, algorithms so that we can counter disinformation campaign, psychological warfare campaign. We have to increase cooperation between government of India and the private sector of our country, which is quite competent. We have to ensure that our critical infrastructure is protected, and we have to use all these non-kinetic tactics as a part of our kinetic warfare also. Now, next issue pertains to Dr. Jaishankar's visit to Moscow. He visited there. The trade between the two countries is increasing, especially the crude oil. Now, today, Russia is the biggest crude oil supplier as far as India is concerned. So, this is a good thing, but we have to also tell Russia that they should accept the payment for the crude in rupees. The next issue pertains to Imran Khan. Imran Khan's confrontation with the Pakistani army continues. He's gone for a very tough posture, not only against the political parties of Pakistan, but more importantly against the Pakistani army. Imran Khan's attack on the Pakistani army is unprecedented, and he's named even the ISI officials for attack on him. Now, this warfare between Imran Khan and the Pakistani army is dangerous for Pakistan because it is ensuring that Pakistan, instead of focusing on the economic aspect, is busy fighting with each other. The last point pertains to the environmental security. Presently, there is a COP27 meeting summit which is going on in Egypt, and the UN General Secretary has said that we are on a highway to a climatic hell with our foot on the accelerator. What is meaning is that the global warming is creating all kinds of problems. The weather is changing. We have certain rains that would not stop, certain droughts, certain floods. I mean, all kinds of environmental hazards are taking place. So there is no solution but to reduce the carbon footprint. The Chinese virus pandemic has very clearly told us that if you want international cooperation on such issues is very important. Everybody has to understand that nobody is safe until the whole world is safe. So the same spirit should guide our collaborative effort to deal with the climate change. As far as India is concerned, we have said that we will follow what has been decided and we will phase out coal by 2040. But it is the developed world which is supposed to subsidize changeover from coal to other means of generating electricity and energy, but they have not done this up till now. This is very dangerous because it is because of the developed world that this crisis of pollution, crisis of carbon footprint increasing started, and the global warming issue started. So they have to now play a responsible role by helping the Asian and African countries in reducing their carbon footprint by subsidizing them. The next and the last issue pertains to the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. it pertains to information warfare. The broadcasting ministry has issued a guidelines. The guidelines is very interesting. It is said that all the TV channels must devote at least 30 minutes every day to promote public service and national interest. What it means is they have given it has been made obligatory for all TV channels to telecast such contents on 8 themes. That means every day for 30 minutes, these themes must be covered. And it is quite sensible. These themes are education, period of literacy, agriculture and rural development, health and family welfare, science and technology, welfare of women, welfare of weaker sections of the society, protection of environment, protection of cultural heritage, and national integration. Why was this done? The rationale is that airwaves or frequency are a public property, and therefore this public property should be used which is best in the interest of the society. These guidelines have come up only on 9th of November, but the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has given time to the TV channels to create this content over a period of time. Now, this is a very good move, and this must be implemented because what has happened today is that the newspapers and the TV channels are full of negative news. They somehow try to paint our country in a very pessimistic way. They create an atmosphere of despondency. But what we have to understand is the fact that the country is progressing, the fact that country is today fastest growing economy in the world. That means there are a lot of good things that are also happening. So therefore, what we have to do is these good things that are happening in the country, call it the positive news, call it India positive, must be brought to the notice of the common people so that they get motivated to work and do not fall prey to despondency. Bad news is good news as far as media is concerned, and lot of bad things keep on getting covered for the TRP, but it is not in the interest of the country. Now, if you look at the international media, most of the bad news about India in the international media has been created by the Indians who are in India. There is a section of people, the section is not very big, but they keep on creating an very negative image about India in the international media. This must stop. The country is definitely progressing. There should be no doubt on this. Unless we project our image in a positive manner, the world will not understand as to what all progress we have made. Remember that today we are a country that follow all rules. We are a very responsible country. Today we are the fifth largest economy. We are third largest as far as the purchasing power parity is concerned. We are not like China, which breaks rules. We are not like China, which creates problems for the neighborhood and the other smaller countries. We are not like China, who eat up, who under the name of One Belt, One Road has made all the African and Asian countries and put them under debt. We are a very, very responsible country. So this image has to be projected to the world, and therefore this information, this new rule which Information and Broadcasting Ministry has made definitely requires to be implemented because it is good for the country, it is good for the morale and motivation of common Indian. I'll stop here. Jai Hind.